What's up? I'm Chris Cohen. This is Matthew Shapiro. We are Advanced Cicerones. We do beer education for Beer Scholar. And we're doing a little blind tasting. Semi-blind tasting here today. This is like the toughest party trick in blind tasting is here's a whole bunch of very pale light beers, which is which. So we're just, it's a style discrimination kind of thing. Like we've got all these light pale beers, but they are all different styles, but these styles have relatively subtle differences. And so can you tell them apart?
Right. I'm going to have to use smell, taste.
Yeah. I poured these.
Figure this out.
I poured these. Matthew has no idea which is which, but he does have this kind of answer key over here.
Right. Yeah. We're going to do some matching here,
Yeah.
but everything looks exactly the same. So,
Yeah.
there's no real dead giveaways on the appearance here.
Right. And if you're doing that kind of like Cicerone exam, blind tasting kind of situation, like you can never tell from visual cues. All these styles have like a range of color.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe one of these is a little darker version of this style or a little lighter version of this style.
One is straw, one is gold, one, that's like
exactly.
We're splitting hairs here.
Yep. Okay.
All right, I want to dive in.
So you got this.
Okay, thanks, dude. I feel like the pale light lager-ish type beers, those are the hardest to tell apart. They're subtle. The flavor profiles aren't crazy bold or in your face. Pretty well balanced. It's not like one's going to be crazy bitter, one's going to be insanely sweet, one's going to be boozy.
Right.
These are all...
Yeah, they're all kind of in that 4.5% to 5% alcohol range. So there's not going to be kind of the same obvious cues.
Yeah.
Yeast profiles should all be fairly clean.
Yeah.
For the most part. Anyway.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Go down the list here.
See what we got.
Give it a little swirl, get some bubbles popping, release the aroma.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nothing really dead giveaway on the nose. Are you laughing because there should be?
No, I'm laughing because I just did a bunch of like brown beers, and we filmed that one just a minute ago, and honestly, a little easy. That I went 5 for 5, so good, but that is honestly easier than this.
Okay, first impressions, not bitter. So I'm taking away the German Pils, the Czech Pils, thinking this has got to be the Helles, the Kölsch, or the American Lager.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny to think I could be swirling and sniffing a bud right now. You know what I'm saying?
Could be.
I know it's crazy. I'm like, this is not bad. Is it a bud? Do I like bud?
And I think for the set I just did of all those brown beers, where there was some from Germany, some from England, some, they have different enough profiles where I could hit it with a sniff and be like, okay, I got it. That's not exactly as easy with these kinds of beers.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to revisit this at a later time.
With these, you need to do comparisons more than how I was doing in our last.
Keep
video.
rocking it here. All right, this one is seeming a lot more aromatic hop-wise. I'm not getting any buttery notes. So Pilsner Urquell, Czech Pilsner, has upfront diacetyl notes, which is a byproduct of yeast that creates sort of a buttery, butterscotchy. Some people perceive it as a slick mouthfeel. Not getting that on the nose. I'm getting some hop aroma, which is kind of pointing me toward German Pils. So I'm going to put this in my mouth and see how bitter it is. Put it in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Getting a little of that lingering bitterness, or no?
Certainly more than this, but it's not as bitter as I would expect. There is some bitterness.
Well, could be a little older than we want them to be. Things like that could be happening to them.
There is some bitterness. So bitterness ramps up over time. You can take a sip of a pretty bitter beer, take a sip, swallow, and wait, and the bitterness on your palate will increase.
Mhm.
And I'm noticing this increasing. So if I had to pick right now, I would say German Pils, but I'm not ready to lock this in.
Not ready to commit.
I feel like if I taste one of these and it's super bitter, I would flip you flop.
No,
so.
I totally like. I think if I were you, I'd be wanting to taste them all before I started making my calls.
Yeah. All right, let's check out this one.
See what we got here. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
What are you tasting?
My first impressions. Oh man, this is so hard.
I was glad I didn't have to do this one.
My first guess would be Kölsch for this one. Kölsch is so tricky. Some Kölsches are more bitter. They're typically known to have some sort of ester character, so some fruitiness of the yeast, but it can be kind of subtle.
Yep.
These are imported versions, so a lot of the time that falls off or it changes over time.
Yep. Kölsch is the only one in the set here that is not a lager. So it's fermented with an ale yeast. Ale yeast tends to make more fruity esters. So the idea of Kölsch is it is meant to be a very light, summery, beer to crush at the beer garden in Germany to compete with beers like Helles or German Pilsner, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is made with an ale yeast, so it tends to be a little fruitier, but it's also lagered.
Right.
Not lager yeast, but like the technique of cold aging, which gives it a similar character to all the other beers in the set.
Totally presents like a Helles or American lager, something of that nature.
Yep.
So
very difficult to.
I'm gonna keep tasting here.
Yeah.
Okay. Not getting much on the nose here. My first gut was this reminds me a bit of college, so I'm leaning toward Bud, but I haven't tasted it yet.
It reminds me of this has the flavor of college.
Yeah, like sticky basement floor.
I've been to some craft beer bars with real fancy tap lists that smelled like that. So.
Yeah, I'm feeling almost positive about this one. And also something interesting is the mouthfeel. To me, it's like this is like cotton candy on your palate. It's just like it's so light and bubbly, and you like take a sip and it's just gone.
Like so just like super fizzy.
Super fizzy.
Yeah.
Not a lot of lingering malt character, no hop character, no yeast character.
So one of the things I teach in my classes, I teach my students when we're drinking these like particular American light lagers, which is kind of like what you would call this style, is like, the carbonation can be so high on them that it is really important to the balance. Like when those beers become flat, like they're undrinkable. So it's almost like a soda, right? Like soda is balanced. Essentially, it's like they're insipid. They're so sweet. If they are not very cold and very fizzy, you kind of can't drink them. And that's also kind of the case with a lot of American light lagers. They're so lacking in bitterness that the coldness and the fizziness are like critical. Whereas with a lot of other, I don't want to bag on like the style of American light lagers. These are like the most popular beers in the world, and I'm not judging anybody. There's a time and a place for every beer, every style, but they are not good when they get warm. A lot of other beer styles, it's like, as long as they're a little under room temp, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's doable, but if this thing was room temp, it'd just be not so hot. All right, I'm gonna place this one here, but I reserve the right to move it.
Yeah.
Be crazy if this was like okay. Man, and I hate to be this guy because you were saying not to judge on color.
Don't judge on visual.
Right away on visual, I am noticing a difference with this one.
Yeah.
This one, I want to hold up these two. Might be difficult to see on camera, but this one looks noticeably darker than the rest.
A little more gold, a little deeper gold.
Yeah, deeper gold, and
I could have picked a certain deep gold other beer to trick you.
You're right. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it though.
So if you're doing some Cicerone exam, you never want to use color or visual cues.
Right.
Just use your nose.
So let me.
In a scenario like this, though, we're just
we're having a good time because all of my training is telling me this is darker for a reason. Like why?
Yeah.
So I'm suspecting Pilsner Urquell, known for the triple decoction mash, which develops a little bit more Maillard character, a little more color in the malt.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go in for a sniff, and if I get buttery,
yeah, you already
then I'm
talked
locked and
about
loaded.
you already talked about the diacetyl that is featured in a lot of Czech lagers. Pilsner Urquell has a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that in here.
It's pronounced.
Yeah, and I don't even need to sip this one.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll
Boom.
sip it after though, because it's good.
All right, we got
That's not bad.
two potentially locked in.
Okay, this is good that at least one I said had the bitterness, so I might let me
Yeah, you always got to
test
revisit.
that. Yeah,
Got to
okay.
revisit. I'm gonna make a little space here.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, not bitter enough to be a pills.
Got my answer key.
That is for sure not
Okay.
pills. So I'm gonna go for
sure
bitter.
about that?
Sure. I'm gonna go for the bitterness thing right now. The German Pils should be the most bitter beer here.
Yep.
Sometimes Kölsch can be bitter, but typically not crazy bitter. So
Yeah, usually Kölsch is very well balanced. Like very
yeah, this one just has a ton of hop aroma.
very balanced, like right in the middle. Whereas German Pils is usually quite bitter.
I'm gonna.
I mean, it's not going to strike you as an IPA in terms of its bitterness, but the balance is always quite bitter.
Yeah, the bitter.
Yeah.
I'm going with the bitter there.
Yeah,
That's good, though.
Should be the most bitter beer here by a decent margin.
Yeah.
Well,
Pilsner
Pilsner
Urquell,
Urquell is very
yeah.
bitter. Yeah,
But the buttery is the hallmark
It's
compared
also-
to the others.
it's also more balanced. Like it has a lot of bitterness and like high IBU, but it also has, more malt character. I think more residual sugar generally. It does not have the hard water that a German Pilsner is often made with that kind of accentuates the hop character, the bitterness. So anyway, let's not get too detailed here.
I'm trying to delay the inevitable here.
Oh, you got this.
This is one of the trickiest, man. Kölsch is Kölsch
Kölsch
versus
versus
Helles.
Helles.
That's hard.
That is hard. That is actually. But I mean, if this is what you're down to, you're doing good.
Make sure I don't spill.
I know, I probably overboard. Can't get a good swirl.
It's tricky. It's like I feel like I'm getting hints more of like sulfur on this one,
Interesting.
which lagers are more known to produce that.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be like crazy rotten egg sulfur,
Right.
but just the lagering process, some of that byproduct is going to happen, and it's quite volatile. It's almost just like a hint because I was comparing it to all these others, so it kind of pops out. But one more sniff and it's going to be gone. You know?
Yeah. A lot of lagers, you'll open the bottle or the can or whatever, and like if you take a quick sniff, it'll be like a whiff of sulfur, and then it's basically gone because it's just like so volatile. It blows off really fast, and there shouldn't be so much in it that you're like still smelling it by the time you get to the end of the beer.
Yeah, totally.
If it's still there at that point, then it's like an off characteristic there's too much of it.
And as I continue to sniff and sniff and sniff, it's like I don't even detect it anymore.
Yeah. That's a good clue though. Sulfur, lagers. If you have an ale with sulfur, that's not
Someone
not
goofed.
good. Not good. All right.
I think I'm just gonna stick with my guns here.
Yeah. So definitely a scientist that I did some tasting courses with. He runs tasting panels all the time. It's like his whole job in life. And what he has said is when you change your mind in this kind of scenario, you're wrong 2 out of 3 times. That's like his data shows, like after years and years of looking at this. And so what I can tell you is you nailed it. Yeah, you got them all.
Let's go, dude.
That's tough, dude. You did a good job. That's really good.
Wow, I was sweating before this. I'm like probably literally sweating. This is one of the trickiest. When I was taking the advanced Cicerone exam, it's so funny. You think about like having to know all these out there styles, like how do these Belgian one compares to these boozy German ones, but you don't really think like how does a Bud compare to a Helles or a Pilsner?
Right. And I guess, the reason the sort of like the advanced Cicerone exam maybe is harder than this is because for that exam, they would just be like, here's the beer, and here's the list of possible styles that it could be, and you don't have these other ones to compare it to, right?
Totally.
Because being able to do some things taste things side by side gives you like tons of context and clues.
Exactly.
Which on those exams you don't get. So
yeah.
But yeah, very nice. Nice job.
Nice. Thanks, Chris. This is a hell of a tasting, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, we got more. We got more in the works.
Yeah. Join us for more.
Yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.